So I developed a promotional thing on Facebook and said something about I said, sweet, what
Streaming live right now. Oh, it works.
3 minutes. 3 minutes. Two minutes, guys. 2 minutes. Set. Welcome Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter, Periscope. We're going to be on in about 2 minutes. Stand by. One minute, guys, 1 minute. You want to get Colin? Colin up first? Cut it now. Yeah, we're about to go on air. Thank you. No, just one. Just one. Colin. I hear feedback.
There was that one.
Is this too close in?
Maybe. Whitey, come on in. Whitey. Tell Short and you.
Yeah, out of here.
He said, tell him about Man U. I have no fucking
Man
clue.
United.
Manchester United.
Manchester United.
Test. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. We're about to start. right. All right, let me just cue the music. Hold on a sec. Da-da-da-da-da. All right.
I gotta take the. I'm a little drunk, so I gotta remember not to
Already?
curse.
Already?
Dude, I don't know. I Ubered here. I never Uber here. I usually have to fucking drive. So.
Well, that's good. At least you Ubered.
Huh?
At least you Ubered.
Yeah. For
you
once,
guys
I'm
hear that?
smart about it.
Yeah, we
Normally,
hear
I'm like, I had one, guys. I gotta be cool.
Good.
It also makes it nice when your father-in-law owns a bar and he's like, "You want to do JMO on my car nights? Let's do JMO on my car nights. Let's fucking do."
Yeah, I missed
I have to tell you, like, I met you in 2007 at the Cup. So one of my best friends, Scott Krynock, I don't know what his aunt's name is, but she's good friends with you.
Where's that at?
In West Orange.
We're hot right
Not
now.
the Cup, not the Cup. What's the name of that bar?
Oh, I know where.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
This is the Let's Go Devils podcast. We're here live at Tavern on the Rocks in Rockaway, New Jersey. The hashtag We Are the Fun Tour continues right now. Tonight's guests, we have Colin White and Grant Marshall here.
Thanks, man. Thanks, buddy.
Lots of fans in attendance, and all right, guys.
At least they didn't do the old Chris Farley. Go Whitey.
Is that, so is he the president of your fan club over there or what?
Yeah, pretty much. He's my biggest fan.
Well, thank
Only
you.
hear me? Oh, apparently we can only hear me, Sam. Yeah, I guess so.
That's good.
That's oh, technical stuff. Isn't it fun?
Don't ask me about technical stuff.
Oh well. All right, well, we'll keep going anyway. It's yeah, that's fine as long as the live stream can hear. So, Colin, thanks for coming up. Thanks for stopping by to our live event today. How you been?
I've been good. Yeah, I've been good. Just busy with the kids, running around from rink to rink.
Awesome. Yeah, you're still involved in hockey, I hope.
Yeah,
At least
just
for your kids.
watching now.
Okay.
But no, I'm still plugging away with the Devils here. I'd like to see them turn it around here a little bit. Tough week, I'm sure, for all the players with the coach being fired, but time for the players to step up and put their words on the ice.
Yeah, start using their actions. It's got to change.
Yeah, and they have the talent.
Oh, absolutely.
The talent's there. So all you Devils fans, stick with them, and they'll come out of this.
Cool.
No,
hope so.
it's funny. We were talking about this before when we were sitting over there about coaching changes, and you said you had 12 different coaches.
We had a lot, and we were winning too. And we're still switching coaches. So I don't know. Go figure. That's Lou. He knows what's going on. I remember my first year I got called up by, you don't really say too much in the room when you're a rookie, but I think there was 8 games left in the season and we fired our coach. I was like, why? But hey, it worked.
Yeah. So what is it like though going through? Obviously the Devils just fired John Hines, so there's this major shift in the locker room. What is that feeling like as a player when they go in? They're like, all right, there's going to be a major change. There's a coaching fire. I know it's not like Lou, because when Lou fired somebody, he would come down and coach the team himself. Yeah. So that's got to be a hell of a lot different. But what is that like as a player?
I think the players feel for John. I think he did a hell of a job here. I mean, you can't put the blame on him. Every person has to take part of the blame. I think the players can respond by their actions on the ice. And obviously, I think it's easier to fire one guy than 23.
Yeah,
sure.
So he took the brunt of it, but I think John's a great coach, and I think all the players would agree to that. He put his effort 100% in. There's no question. Anyway, but the players will move on, and that's the game. Players switch in and out. People get traded. People move teams. So that's part of the hockey business. That's the business side. That's the kind of the crappy part of it.
Yeah, and it's got to be like that every day. Like you just said, players come and go. People come in. You were lucky that you got to play with the same organization your entire career. So like you see guys come in for a year, they go out. You see guys, coaches come in and go 12 times, obviously,
Yeah, it is hard. It is hard. And as you'll hear from Grant kind of moved around a little more, but I moved to San Jose my last year.
That's right.
And
Yep.
that was really tough on me because I was a devil at heart and I had a role here. It was a little role, but it was my role, and I knew my role. And that was tough when you go to a different organization and you're trying to be that same player, but maybe that role isn't the role you're going to have there. So, yeah, that part was tough for me as a player, and I see that now as you get older and you retire, and you can kind of look back in the heat of the moment. Kind of pisses you off because you want to stay in one spot, but I understood the whole process, and that was the business side. I had some good talks with Lou after it, and no hard feelings. I came back, and he got me right back with the organization, working with the alumni and stuff. So I have nothing but great things to say about him.
What's crazy is like when you look at a player and you, as a fan, I'm not gonna lie, I see you as a devil your entire career, and I completely forget that, like that spot where you went to San Jose. Because as we see Colin White, that's Colin White, that's a devil. Yeah. You're a devil forever. You know what I mean? Like, so as a fan, like when you see some guys come in and go, but you have guys that are ingrained into the history of this team. Like you are ingrained into the history of this team. Yeah. And the fan base, I can tell you, we can't tell you how much we appreciate you as a player. And like I said, you're a lifelong devil.
Yeah, I was a small piece of a big puzzle that we had here for a lot of years, and was fortunate to play with some great players, and now call them my friend, and that's what's special about being here. And in today's game, you'll see players come and go, but we have a good solid core here. We have a lot to look forward to in the coming years. I mean, yes, this has been a little lull. I think everybody, me personally, thought this year was going to go a lot.
We all thought that, after
I was
the summer.
excited in the summer. I couldn't believe some of the moves we made. And now we are where we are, and there's nothing that is going to change that. But moving forward, I think we're solid. I think we got to tighten up a little, obviously defensively, and that's. I'm not going to rag on anybody because I've been there and done that, and had our ups and downs, but. For these guys just to stay with them, they got great leaders in Andy Green and Trav Sajak and these guys. I felt bad for Corey getting sent down, but if he goes down and plays his game, we all know the goalie he can be. Mm-hmm. And the other two kids came in and they're playing good. So we have a lot of good things to look forward to. A lot of young kids, with bright futures. We just signed Heischer for a long time. So,
for 7 years.
We did.
I like his game a lot. I loved when we got Wayne Simmons and these guys to kind of give that physicality back. We seen that last night in the game, and I think all the fans appreciate that. He's a stand-up guy. He can score 30 goals. He's one of the toughest guys in the league. I really enjoy watching his game.
Yeah, I agree.
I didn't like playing against him that much, but when I played against him and he was in LA, he was really young, right?
Yeah.
We were kind of like, who is he? But he has definitely proven himself over time, and just a class act. I know the Philly fans were probably pretty bummed that he was coming back so close to them, but not with them. But I know he was a fan favorite there, and he will be here too.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, I think he already is. He's definitely one of those guys that can go out and get you a Gordie Howe hat trick almost any night. And that's what I love about him is that he'll go out there and he'll score, and then a shift or two later, he'll go drop the gloves if he needs to. And that seems to be the type of guy you always want in the locker room. At least one of those guys.
Oh, it's definitely you always talk about who you'd like to go into a foxhole with, and he's definitely that guy on that team. He's got every guy's back. Him and even Miles is a young kid, but it's great for Miles to learn from a veteran like that role. Miles' speed. I do like watching them on the same line. It's kind of like the old school crash line.
Yeah.
With Lusso and Randy McKay and these guys, but in a different era, right?
Yeah.
Like, to me, the speed of the game, the talent level is unreal. From your 7D down, they're unreal skaters. Like, when I came into the league back in the day, it was more of a wrestling match back there. And
Yep.
Not, slow to foot and stuff like that. But these guys are tremendous skill. The talent level is crazy. I don't think we ever practiced stick handling. I didn't anyway. It was more of the puck was square after I was done with it. But off the glass and out, that's what they told me. So that's what I did, right? So no, but I enjoy still watching the game, the skill and the young and the speed. I like watching certain players in the league. I don't know about you guys, but
Oh yeah.
I do. I still love watching Crosby. From Nova Scotia, so I'm kind of biased that way. But I mean, Connor McDavid, the speed, I couldn't imagine.
Unreal.
I might have trouble keeping a gap with him. Definitely might get a two-handed.
Oh yeah.
There, but
But and that's like nowadays the NHL is like you even get close to somebody and they you get a penalty for it. But like some of these guys like McDavid, you bring up a great point. Like 10, 15 years ago, probably wouldn't have been able to do what he does now.
right.
Be able to like go through defense and like basically the other night I forget who they're playing, but he stick handles between like the entire forward and defenseman group. And he just goes through all five, and you look at it, and you're like, "How the hell does he do this?" And he got a shot off too.
No, he did. Yeah, he got a great play there. I was watching that. I seen that on the highlights. And, he's just incredible talent. I mean, I only seen him play live once, but it was awesome. Just the talent around the league, but every team seems to be getting these young kids now. You look at Jack Hughes. He looks like a baby face out there, right?
Yeah,
I mean, we all were. I was 21 when I came in, but I didn't think I looked that young. But I have kids that are 17 now and stuff, so it's right there. He is so young and so talented, so fast. And I know I'm a hockey guru too, and I'm a fan. I listen to a lot of their comments. I read a lot of the hockey stuff, and he tries to emulate Patrick Kane, and then we had Patrick here last night. And you do see the similarities. It would have been nice if he had scored on that shot for sure, and I'm sure he wanted to. But at the same time, I think Patrick Kane could also look over and say, you know what, the kid's doing a really good job, impersonating me out there.
And I noticed when Hughes took that shootout chance last night and he didn't score, he was the first one off the ice.
Yeah,
you can just like for the little bit that they showed him coming off the ice, he just looked pissed off.
But I like that.
As do I, and I was happy to see that. I'm like, okay, good, he cares, and that's what you want.
Yeah, and you know what? I kind of got myself into trouble a few times with wearing your heart in your sleeve kind of thing. But I've seen that with Hughes a couple games that I went to this year, and see him go back a little pissed off to the bench. But that's good because he wants to finish. He wants to produce. He wants to be the guy. He wants that pressure. He puts that on himself, and that's what makes these great players great players. And so that's a good sign to see. I mean, you don't want to see him go off every shift and bang a stick. And I did that. You don't want to see that. You get in trouble for that. But anyway, it's nice to see that because you gotta think, like, at some point, who's getting pissed here?
Yeah.
You gotta, at some point, it's not just a game. This is your life. This is reality. This is the business that you're in. And, let's go here. And who's going to step up and grab the bull by the horns and say, hey, let's get out of this. And, in that room, I know they're saying that. And they're trying to do it. And it will happen. It's not going to happen overnight. And I think as a former player, that's what I'm a fan now of the game. I know it's just going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. But But what you got to do is start building. Like, take good points. Like last night, they stayed close the whole game.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Start winning these tight games. And then start getting a roll. Don't try to go out and you win 5-0 one night and then you're back down 5.
Yeah.
Stay close. Stay the course. Play your system. Play your game. And But the end result will take care of itself. We will get better.
Yeah, and you talk about passion. Like the one guy I always bring up is Kyle Palmieri.
I love
That dude plays with his heart on his sleeve. He scores a goal, and it's like he scored, the game-winning goal in a Game 7 of a playoff series. That dude has got emotion written on his face every shift.
And definitely for Kyle being from around this area.
He's a local boy too, which is great.
That's a lot of pressure too, right there, and he holds it well. He does well with it. I really like his game. I know he's one of the biggest leaders on the team.
Yeah.
And he's tough. He's gritty. He sacrifices himself nonstop for the team. And he's a great leader. I love that you guys notice that as fans, because I definitely do.
That's the one thing, is the passion. Like you see as a fan, some of us have hockey experience, some of us don't. Some of us have played at whatever level. Obviously, majority have not played at the NHL level. But as a fan, you just try to immerse yourself into what's going on in the team. And when you see somebody as passionate as him, and especially he goes in there, he scores a goal, he raises his fist, he's screaming. Every time he takes a penalty, every time he's trying to draw a penalty, he's jawing at the ref. He's showing it, how much he's invested on the ice. And as a fan, you can see that. And I feel like as we sit back and we watch it, we appreciate that, because it's that's a guy that is going to go out there and bleed for his team. Mm-hmm. And that's all you could ask for anybody, I suppose.
And he does it. He does it night in, night out, shift up.
Exactly, yeah.
It's not just once in a while. He's consistent. He's a professional. A lot of guys, that's who you want to follow. These young guys, that's who you want to work like.
Yeah.
He works like that every day in practice. That's his life. That's the way he rolls. So
now, is that how you were when you played? Was that your mentality, or?
I think it was a lot of our guys.
Yeah.
But I think we learned it from the veterans like Randy McKay, Scott Stevens, Bobby Holy. These guys pushed you every day.
Yeah.
I mean, they were tough.
Yeah.
Right? But that's what made us better. It is the competition every day to be better, to challenge yourself. And I think leaders like that are, like Scotty was, lead by example. You guys all seen it. I mean, he was vicious on the ice. It was a different person than off the ice. You know what I mean? Once he was getting his gear on, it was
game time.
Yeah, it was game time. Yeah, it was business. It was let's get to work.
What was that like as a rookie going into that locker room, going into that environment with that veteran with that veteran presence in there?
Well, I think back then the game was so different too, that everybody was just such a battle every night. And I think for these skilled guys necessarily, they can't get that hyped up one and aggressiveness, right? Because then they're going to take away from their game. But I think they definitely can take the work ethic out of it. That part of the game's still there, and the back checking, being disciplined, being in position. We still talk about turnovers all the time, and that's, I think, been a big thing that we have to get better at as the Devils. The 2 feet outside the blue line, 2 feet inside the blue line. You got to play the game. You got to play the time. You got to play the clock. Do it. There's a game within the game that we're playing. You know what I mean? Not just the overall score. So I think once you start breaking it down like that, and paying attention to detail, they'll come through.
Which I think is great that we have veterans like Palmieri and Simmons, especially with this young core that we have, that can show them what they need to do in order to be successful and to go to the next level and to continue and to begin winning again. I think those guys are so valuable that'll help push this team and make this team that much better into the future.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I really believe in the team. Like I said, I watch 90% of the game. My kids are big fans, obviously, so I watch with them, and it's easy as a fan to critique and.
I'm sorry. The only reason I'm laughing is because it's so true. Yeah. Because we can sit back and be like, God damn it, you should have passed it there. You should have done this. But on the ice, it's got to be like
that game speed is
it's completely different. Yeah,
making decisions out there, but I mean, you do watch video and you do you do talk to your coaches, the defense coach or the forward coach or the special teams coach. I think, that's a big part of the game today is the special teams. It wasn't so much when we played because there was just less penalties.
Yeah.
But now it's almost like you're going to get 3 power plays a game.
Yeah, you're going to have the opportunity. At
So
some
you're
point.
going to get that. So when you get it, you have to, make hay. So you have to produce.
Yeah.
And we've spoken about a lot before on our podcast that we see what goes on in the ice, and we can only figure out so much from where we're watching. Like, we're not in that locker room. We don't hear what the coaches are saying. Like, we don't know what the vibe and between the players are. So for us, like, it's like a natural thing. Fans are gonna make things up because they're trying to.
We fantasize. We just start making stuff up. Like,
Well,
he's probably doing this or doing that.
Or he doesn't care.
No. Sometimes it isn't pretty in the dressing room. There'll be a lot of confrontations in that room for sure, especially when you're losing. You're trying to figure it out. You're trying to figure it out together, but you're gonna get pissed at times, and you're gonna say some stuff to each other. But at the end of the day, they are on the same team. They are on the same page. They're working as a unit. So, emotions will run high in these situations, whether it's the coach, whether it's the captains, whether it's the goalies getting pissed, whatever. But, they'll work it out. And at the end of the day, the players in that room are the only ones that are going to be able to go out there and do it.
Yes.
And they know that. They don't have to be told that.
We like I was saying before, we were talking off camera about a bunch of stuff, and you brought up a really funny point about, talking to the forwards and the way they yell at you back, the way you're talking to the goaltenders, and the communication on the ice or the communication on the bench. When you're going through a hard stretch, I can only imagine, like, you guys are all talking to each other. There's communication going up and down the line. Was there any point where you got into a conversation with somebody where you're like, just shut up?
There'd be worse than that, say. And it goes both ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, the forwards yell back.
Kind of like, just let me do my job and you
Get
do
your head
your
in your
job.
ass tonight. Like, move the puck. Get it. Can you make a pass tonight? Like, yeah. So, and then it's back check. Help, get back.
Yeah.
But obviously there'll be some bombs in there once in a while, and tensions, and sometimes that does carry over. But at the same time, I think it pushed certain guys to be better. And sometimes the coach would razz on somebody to get a reaction out of somebody else, and that's just how it is. Some people treat being yelled at differently.
Yeah.
Some people take it and push forward and go out and do something. Some people kind of cringe at it.
Yeah.
It all depends, and that's probably the hardest part about being a coach in this league is just judging 23 egos and trying to balance it and make it work and make everybody believe in the same thing. But the quicker everybody believes in the system, believes in each other, the more success you're going to have.
Would you ever want to coach in the NHL?
I
don't know if that was.
Who wouldn't? But I don't think anybody would want me to go. No, I don't know. I couldn't. I don't know. There's been a few coaches getting in trouble lately, and
Yeah.
coaching's a tough situation these days.
You can't motivate like it used to be.
Yeah. No.
And that's
You know what, coaches? People think that's an easy job. That's
That's
gotta
the hard.
be a
That's got to be the
job.
hardest.
It really does. I mean, I've had a lot of battles over the years with coaches.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I've always respected my coach, and we've always talked it through, had some laughs over it. At the time, it might not have been funny or any of that, but definitely we understood where we were coming from. The heat of the moment, things get said. That stuff happens. That's reality of sports in general. I mean, that happened. I'd imagine that would happen in every sport professionally. Yeah. This is your life. This isn't to me, it wasn't a game. It was.
That's life. That's
That's your job. You got.
And that's so funny because there's one thing that a lot of people miss when they're yelling, "Fire Coach Hines," and they're doing it. Trade Taylor Hall. Do that. That's somebody's life.
Yeah.
And I mean, we talk about it and we say it because we're on our podcast, like we're fans, and there's sometimes where we talk about it and we get into a conversation where we're like, yeah, fire this guy. Now, that's some dude's life.
Yeah.
Imagine going outside and outside of your profession, somebody's holding up a sign that says,
Yeah, it says, get out of here. It's
get out of here.
Guys that are in the game that have gotten to this level, we're actually one big, huge family. It's an honor to play in the NHL. It's a privilege, and it's a respect that goes throughout the league. I meet guys that I might have had fisticuffs with years ago. They're the first guys that I'm having a beer with.
Yeah.
Once I meet them, right? Because that's a respect factor. Just the work that every person had to put in to get to that position. You know what I mean? So it's a small part of the population that gets to do these things, and your instant respect. You get traded. I know Grant been traded. I got traded, not traded, but bought out, and then went to San Jose. And there was a lot of guys I battled with over the years, and they were great. Walk into that room just because you've earned that respect, and I think that makes it more welcoming. I know the goalie here just got traded, and I'm sure the guys were great to him coming in, and that's part of the game. But it's a big family. It's a small world, and in the hockey business, everybody trying to bite their tongue and say the right thing, but at the end of the day, I think everybody that has been in this situation, that's worked, whether it's coaching, video guys, anything to get to that level, everybody has a respect, and I think before everybody judges these coaches and whatnot, they were trying to do a job. They're just trying to get the best of their players. And you hear some players say things bad, and then you hear other players say, hey, yeah, but that motivated me. That made me a better player. So it goes both ways. It's never one-sided, and that's basically the point to that, where I think coaches have a tough time in this today's game. And everybody does, because everything's under the microscope now. So much social media, so much.
Which is crazy. Social media alone, we
didn't have that.
Yeah, exactly.
We didn't
and it gets everybody in trouble. I mean, you say one stupid thing on Twitter.
Thank God they didn't have that.
Yeah, and everyone's
for a lot of
everyone's got a camera in their pocket, so it's like these players, and they're recognizable. Like if they go out, it's like you almost have to be walking on eggshells, just living life, because they do the wrong thing or look the wrong way. Someone's got a camera and it's on social media, and it's like then all of a sudden the players. May not have even been anything negative. It's just now all of a sudden it's like you're defending yourself for.
Yeah,
you were out.
I think it'd be a tough go today. With all the media stuff, but I think the guys handle it. I know you see other sports. I think hockey is on the right path. We have one of the best leaders ever to play the game, Wayne Gretzky. He leads by example. We all follow. That's if that's your best player, and that's everybody's role model. If you think of hockey and you think of one guy, Wayne. Everybody's doing a good job. All the kids today, everybody's respectful, and I think you owe that to the veterans, the guys that have passed that down to us.
Yeah. I have to tell you, as a fan, and you say leading by example and all these other great things, and you, like I said in the very beginning, you are such a huge part of this team and the greatest section of this team's history. And as a fan, we can't thank you enough for everything that you did.
Oh,
and honestly, no. I mean,
we were a group. We weren't individuals. And that was
exactly.
That's the best part.
And that was
we had small.
That was
I
the
had
Devils.
A small role, but that was we all felt that way.
But you embodied the Devils. There's players that embodied who the Devils were. And as as a player,
we didn't feel that. We just felt we believed in each other. We believed in that locker room, and we were the underdog. Nobody was ever picking us.
No,
exactly. Ever. Yeah.
But that made all of our wins that much better because we weren't supposed to do it.
Right.
You could have the greatest goaltender in the history of the sport, and it still always got overlooked. And some of the best defensive cores in the entire league, And hopefully we can have you on again because I would love to pick your brain about all the the past of playing with Scotty Stevens and just everything that you did playing in front of Marty and what that was like and the conversations I can imagine that you guys had.
Yeah, no, hey, it was all. Once you retire, you get to sit back and kind of say, "Wow, that was like."
I got to do that.
How fast does that
At the
feel?
time, your buddies are all like, "Hey, what's it like playing with Marty? What's it like?" They were just my teammates, right, and my buddies. But now you sit back and you say, "Geez, they're Hall of Famers. They're like the best at their jobs."
Yeah,
and we were part of that. That was pretty cool. That's something special. That's something I cherish.
Yeah,
sure.
And honestly, I know we said it leading into it, and I know we're hitting on time. I see Sam, our producer.
Yeah, we're hitting on time.
But I met you in 07. You couldn't have been the nicest person I've ever met.
Oh, appreciate
As a professional athlete, I've been telling this story since I met you, that I went and did shots with this guy, and he was the coolest person I've ever met in my entire life.
There's a few people that can say that.
But honestly, we can't thank you enough for coming on tonight and for coming out here.
Before we let you go, though, one of our fans put into our Facebook group that our fan Jen Foy said you had the sexiest voice ever. So that is from our Facebook comments, and it sounds like you got a couple others that agree with Jen here. So I just wanted to send you off with that comment.
I did want to be a WWF wrestler.
Hey. There's still time. There's still time. You could be a WWF wrestler.
Awesome. So, Colin, thank you for coming on.
No problem.
We appreciate you stopping by. No problem.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
So, Colin White, everyone. Awesome. What's up?
I guess
Grant's up.
Grant,
Come on,
I think
Grant.
Grant's coming up.
Come on, Grant.
Yeah, you're the president of your fan club. Grant Marshall, president of the Colin White fan club's coming up next. Thank you, Colin.
Get out of here. You warmed up already. So heavy, I think I made it shorter, too.
There you go.
From defense to forward, eh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think I should talk like this because it might be sexy. Maybe I'll get the sexiest voice going. Colin, what do you think? Idiot. Colin, I'm going to talk like you because I want the sexiest voice. Come on, are you serious?
Yeah, no, right? It's right here. Where's Jen's
Head
comment?
to toe, there's nothing sexy about
There you go,
that.
there you go, right there. Colin White has the sexiest voice ever. From Jen.
From Colin White.
Oh, Colin posted that. I missed that.
He texts himself.
He put the phone down. And he did it.
Is Shauna texting from Canada?
Oh, Grant, welcome back.
I'm glad to be back.
Yeah,
you guys are awesome.
You are.
Colin did a
dude.
great job. He was nervous, I think, and he did a good
No,
job.
he did a fantastic job.
Nervous. He didn't seem nervous. This is my boy right here.
Oh, you guys are awesome.
You officially are.
Sam's okay too.
You were like
Yeah, Sam's okay.
we're friends. We're friends now.
You
It's
are
official.
Yeah, you hold the record for the most appearances on our podcast.
and you want to know something? I'm very proud of that.
That's
Hey,
awesome.
you know,
He may have the sexiest voice, but I'm proud to be the lead on, or being on the podcast the most.
they do in SNL. They give out the I think it's the 5. If you've hosted the show 5 times, you get the
like a
jacket
or something.
Yeah,
Right.
Like
it's like
we
the,
gotta get you a jacket now.
like the Masters green jacket. or
yeah,
something.
yeah,
Like,
exactly. Yeah.
Oh well.
So
I just you got before we get into questions or talking hockey and all that jazz, you guys really
Sexy
do a great
voices
job.
and
Yeah,
Thank you.
you guys do a great job. So professional, so respectful, and you guys are good guys, and it's fun, and we enjoy. I really enjoy. I know Colin. It's like. Especially being in a place like this is great. Like being, in the basement of the house talking. And,
Yeah, this is.
And
Tavern-
you still wearing your shorts.
Of course.
Ridiculous. I
speaking of
love
which,
it.
my father-in-law, who owns the bar, is sitting there slapping bellies with Sam over there.
Yeah, he's doing
Yeah.
chest bumping and everything, which is great. No, but in all seriousness,
Thank you.
Are you? What is?
Look at that.
you,
Thank you,
look
Cal.
at you.
Thank you, Kelly.
You guys do a great job. Really, really do a
thank
great
you.
job. You guys deserve all the adulations.
it's a lot of fun. Like we get to
Dave
like
Decker's in the house.
what's
up, buddy?
Dave. You know, we're just
Sam's not working. He's just getting pictures right now.
that's all Sam does is take pictures.
Wow.
But I mean, as fans, we never thought we'd get to do anything like this. So
Good
we
for you guys.
just started talking online, and this is what happens.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of the internet. We were talking about social media
Right,
earlier
right.
Drinking
being a
beer and
negative.
talking to,
Yeah, and now because social media, here we are drinking beer, talking
Well,
about
you know,
Marshall and Colin.
It's like it's like a lot of things in life. You just gotta take that plunge and just go for it and try it. And if it doesn't work out, then you know what?
you move on.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's like anything in life, and you're gonna. Like I always say, failures. People say, "Oh, kid failed," and all this. Failure is only temporary as long as you keep trying.
Failure's the best teacher.
And you give up. And people will say, "Well, that's all it is." Failure will be permanent if you don't keep trying. Or like trying to achieve that goal or that aspiration that you really want. And that's the key. Whether it's starting up a podcast, whether it's playing hockey, whatever, teacher, doctor, it doesn't matter. As long as you give it all and try your best and have fun doing it, what else can you live for?
That's all that matters.
Failing makes you humble. I feel like that failing makes you humble. And this team right now is pretty damn humble. Honestly though, no. I agree with you 100%. Like failing it brings you down to earth and it makes you a very humble person. Sometimes it can teach you a very good lesson, especially if you're not used to it or if you're not used to failing, and you have those moments where you're like, damn, like now I'm at the bottom. Yeah. Now I have to figure everything out, and it just helps you become a better person. So
failing or temporary failing is a learning is also a way of learning, is right. You
as long as you learn from it. Yeah.
You got to learn from it.
But it's we always try and say in the game it's start the season to the end, or whether you're doing a rebuild as an organization, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And they're going to have some ups and downs, and they're having some downs at the moment. They unfortunately, they had to dismiss the coach and try something different. I think John Hines is a good man, a good coach. But it's like team's struggling. You're not going to get rid of 23 guys, and he's going to be kind of the fall guy. That's the way it always is, and it's always going to be that way. But that's another form of them having to learn from that. They're maybe he has some of his misgivings or things that he failed in as a coach possibly, but they have to execute. They weren't executing as well, and that's on them. And the coach has to take the brunt of that. Hence why he got fired. So it's a learning curve. They have to learn from that. They have to build on that. They got good young nucleus of guys, with sprinkled in some older guys. But on paper it looks great, but that doesn't win you championships. That doesn't get you the next win. That doesn't get you in the playoffs. You got to execute and you got to bring it. But they're working hard. They care. They're trying their best, and that's all you can ask for. And hopefully they keep building on it.
Yeah, and that's like over the summer we've looked at all the moves the Devils made, and like the team on paper, it's like this is going to be a fantastic season. We all had such high hopes, and then when they went to execute, the execution just
that's the hard part, right?
There.
I think Ratio is doing a great job and has done a good job. It's just that they have a plan set, a game plan, or a way of how they want to operate going into the season. And when that gets altered, that's tough because they always have there's a certain set you want to achieve, and when that gets kicked off kilter, that's like, what do we do now? Now you have to you have to bring in Plan B. You have to try something different. Hence, maybe a new coach or whatnot. But again, it brings back that learning tool. They have to learn. And Ratio's been around. He's been in the ups and downs, and he knows how to kind of figure it out. The players have to too, and they have to come together. And just keep the thing you cannot do. It's an absolute guarantee. Is if you don't come with the mindset and the work ethic and practice in the game, then you're definitely not going to get better, and it's just going to keep pummeling lower and lower. If you bring that right attitude every day in practice, in the game, it's all you can ask for. And things, because listen, the other team wants to win too. So they have to. That's just there's so much parity in the game now. That you're the nod.
Thank you, Melissa.
There you go. There's so much parity in the game now that it's even Steven. So it's who wants it more, and at the end of the day, in all sports, who executes it better.
Yeah, because you have 30. You have every single team with the same goal.
Yep.
And everyone's fighting for the Stanley Cup, and that's it. And that's that.
You're not going to have teams going and say, "I just want to be relevant."
Yeah.
That just does not. It doesn't happen. It's just like it's. it's just it doesn't. Look, unfortunately, whatever. I'm a Miami Dolphin fan, right? And we're talking about their tank and all that stuff. But you know
And
what?
then they turn it
I
around.
tell you right now, I'm going to the game tomorrow, but it's I kind of want them to lose, but I want them to. I love what they're doing. It's like they're competing.
Yeah.
And that's all. They're not going to just go in and say, I don't. They're going to play for their job. They don't want them drafting a lineman when that lineman's like, it could be
his
drafting
job.
my job.
Yeah.
So they compete. They're working hard. And that's all you can ask for, right?
Hey, listen.
So it's
Fitz
the same
magic,
hockey.
man. It's Fitz magic.
I know.
That team is like everybody thought they're gonna go winless. They were gonna be a horrible disaster. You put Fitz magic at quarterback, and anything's possible.
Well, I tell you, right now I want them to play as hard as they can, and I want them to say lose 24-21 or 23. Say, they played hard. We got that higher draft pick.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's also the thing with American sports is the worst teams are almost rewarded with the best draft pick.
I know.
We were talking about soccer earlier, where in leagues around the world, if you're the worst team, you get bumped down to the next level.
Yeah. You got to work your way back up.
And you got to work your way back up. So it's almost an odd thing.
Let me ask you something then. So, just as a fan's perspective, like in my opinion, it was great having Jack Hughes, or the whole process of getting the number one pick, the lottery, blah blah blah. Jack, oh my God, it was great. I'm over it. As a fan, I don't want to be in that position again. I want to get into a situation where we're back where we used to be in a winning culture, where we're getting into the playoffs. I don't care if we're getting out in the first seed, or you're losing the first round. First round. If you're losing in that first round or you're losing the second round, at least you're getting into the playoffs. You're getting into the mix. The NHL, the way it's structured nowadays, it's as soon as you get in, it's anybody's game.
Yeah.
You saw that with the St. Louis Blues last year. I love having these first overall picks. Jack Hughes, Nico Hischier. It's awesome. It's great. The future is bright.
But you go through misery to get them.
God damn it, dude! I'm sick and tired of getting to the point where we're like, hey, I'm going to go to a game and we're going to lose. And now we have to go and hope for the first overall pick. I'm done with that. I want to get into hey, we're fighting for a playoff spot. Yeah. And as a player, I can imagine it's the same thing. Where you're in that locker room, you're like, I'm watching my language. But you get to that point where you're like, I don't want to be in this rebuild. And
you know what you are? You're a fan.
Yeah, I know.
And don't stop being a fan. Listen, I get it. I played pro sports my whole life, 14 years, and I talk about the Dolphins, and I say the same thing. I'm like, oh, come on, this is ridiculous what they're doing, all this. But you know what? You gotta just keep doing what you're doing, and they gotta figure it out, and they will. They don't want to be in this situation, but the reality is they're in a situation, and then they have to look at the bright spots since they put themselves in a situation, maybe as long as they, do the right thing and hit on the right players, that within a few years that they're going to be middle of the pack to the end, to the back end of the pack, where they're getting the last pick and they're winning the cup. So everything you're saying is exactly spot on. I can tell you right now, the ownership, they don't want to be in this situation. They don't want to be drafted first overall. Yeah, it's exciting because they're getting one of the best players at that age, coming in, but they want to
sell tickets and bring people in the building.
So listen, they're all on the same page. It's just it's a process, and that's the frustrating part for fan. That's the hard part.
No, agreed. Yeah. And not every first overall draft pick is a superstar. You get some first overall picks that are
that are complete busts.
That when they get to that higher level, they can't
dangle.
compete.
You can be a dangle.
Yeah. Which that's is kind of, which that's always the crapshoot of having the first overall pick. They're always coming in with all these high expectations, and not all of them do it.
Yeah, and that's the nature of the beast. It's the scouting systems. It's talent evaluators, and how good are they? I'm sure we have great talent evaluators. It's just that's the part of the process. It's like, well, we really like this kid. Okay, well, that's not going to be he's going to hit, but
that's true.
It's a team effort when it comes to the office, and it comes to the scouting department, and it comes to the coaching staff, the trainers, all the way down to the backup goalie.
Well, and that brings me to my next point about Taylor Hall, right? So there's a lot of speculation, and our really good friend Tyler Kelly on Twitter, and he's kind of alluded to the fact that there's a very, very strong chance that Taylor Hall is going to be traded within the next week. During this road trip that the Devils are on. And if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I see Sam putting on a headset, so that usually means he's about to say something.
Yeah, we're gonna have Tyler Kelly on the Woo Report post game after after the game ends. Just need to plug that.
I'm just saying. Well,
I didn't know you were still here. I didn't know you were still here. You were taking
He's like a ghost.
Yeah, he's taking pictures, getting autographs.
I mean, you're trying to take over the status of Colin White. He's got the voice. You got the looks. There you go. Interrupting our podcast.
But there's a lot of speculation that Taylor Hall is going to get moved on, and he goes from Edmonton where it was a losing situation. He comes to New Jersey. They had the one playoff run, and then it's just kind of like almost a repeat of what he was going through in Edmonton. And I'm not going to speculate on how he feels as a player or how he feels as a person. I'm not him. I'm not going to go in his shoes. But I can tell you this: if he does get moved, like as a player, do you look at a situation where you're like, hey, we're not going anywhere. If I can get out of here, I can get out of here, and I can make it a better situation. Like, as a player, do these things, like, fluctuate through your mind, or are you just focused on, like, the day-to-day?
Yeah. It's hard. You can't get in the mind of somebody. I think for the most part, I mean, majority of the time, players don't ask to get traded. I mean, they don't. They want to play. They want to stick it out. They want to just keep competing. They want to win.
Yeah.
Even if it's not winning, they want to try and be part of the solution, not part of the problem. Meaning sometimes, ask to get traded is part, trying to avoid the situation. In saying that, he still may get traded. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to keep him here. I hope they sign him, and I think he's one of the best players in the league and in the world. But I don't see a lot of guys. Very seldom in hockey, I think you really see it, or even vocally loud. I want out of here. I want out of here. Unless there's something you're asking, you just don't see it because I don't think we're wired that much. To me, I didn't want to. We're getting bombarded here, Colin White. What are you?
I guess we're getting a picture, mid-air picture.
We're doing pictures in
mid-show,
mid-answer.
Oh, mate, come on in.
People are just listening. We're getting pictures with Colin White right now. I'm so proud. I'm blessed. Right, so great.
Awesome, thank you.
I didn't interrupt your podcast with your on, okay? Just saying. Sexy voice. Embarrassing. Anyways, but for me, and I'm sure Colin felt the same way. Guys never. I very seldom we see players asked to be traded. It's just we don't. If it happens, we happen, but you never really see. You
never in your career, you never had anybody walk in the locker room and be like, I'm effing done. I'm effing done with you guys.
No.
I'm effing done with this situation. I mean, you were both in winning situations, so it wasn't. Whitey, you ever think that, Colin? We've never ever in the locker room ever had come in and say, guy say, I'm done, I want out of here. I've never hardly ever played with anyone like that. No, I'm not saying they didn't want that, but they never voiced it. It was never vocal. You know how you see a lot of times in the NFL guys like, I got benched or I didn't get my playing time. I'm done. I can't. I mean, it doesn't happen. It's just hockey's a different mentality. Yeah.
We rather be part of the solution than the problem.
Yeah.
Danny Lemieux, Colton Hughes. Yeah, he did. Only in Slapshot do the players want to get traded, get out of there. That's right. Danny Lemieux did.
No, Danny Lemieux just made the call.
That's right. Danny Lemieux made the call. Yeah. And then he hung up.
That's right.
Awesome. Oh, now we're no.
What the hell are you doing to the bus?
Now we're talking about going on the road and stuff. We're not going down that road.
That's the After Hours podcast.
That's right.
But I mean, I don't know if maybe it wasn't going on in when you guys were playing. Maybe it's a newer thing. It's across the sports landscape. You look at the NFL, you look at the NBA, you look at. I don't want to say the NHL because you're right. You don't really see it in the NHL as much, but you see players trying to manipulate their ways into situations.
You see it in soccer too.
Oh, I was just
in soccer too.
Yeah.
But the difference is with that is that, and this is the different where there's no parity and we're Premier League fans. I'm a Man U fan. Liverpool. These are big clubs, biggest top 10 clubs in the world.
Oh yeah.
But when you got the money, you buy the players.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's not like So it's you. I mean. But then it's nice to see teams like Leicester doing well when
it is
all of the 3 players in Man U cover the whole salary of Leicester.
Yeah.
So it's a different animal when it comes to soccer, right? Where it's you're buying your team.
You're buying it.
You're
and
buying
then-
your team,
and
which
then-
it is what it is.
Yeah.
Where it's a different animal when the sports is totally it's a different
But do you
mindset.
think-
Sports is totally it's a different
But do you
mindset.
think that's a culture in just hockey in general? Do you think that's just like to me? There's a lot of differences in hockey to any other sport. You know what I mean? Like there's a different way that hockey players hold themselves, and I don't know.
I agree.
Like a kind of like almost like not as brash as other sports,
Yeah.
not as like outgoing as other sports. And I don't know if that's like I don't know. What is it, Ohio State?
Not on
Oh
yet.
no, they're
That's-
showing PK Subban
Yeah.
on there.
Yeah.
But,
well, where you're going, I honestly, growing up, and Colin would say the same thing. It's our mind. It's so all about the team.
Yes.
From a young age, it's all about the team. It was never about you as an individual, because we were always, with the upbringing and playing, is because it's all about the team. Your individualism is going to show.
Yeah.
Because you need that togetherness, and I always scouts will say, well, look at this player's scoring all the goals for the team, and they're in last place and they're terrible and all this stuff, and he's not getting drafted high because but being part of a winning culture, winning team, there's a reason for that. Oh,
Yeah.
He's part of that team. He's part of a winning team. It's more than just the stats. What is he bringing? That's the intangibles that we don't see, and it's that winning team culture. If you're part of a team, like my biggest thing in Collins is I wasn't a big stat guy, but I wanted to be one of the best teammates.
Yeah.
If I had to fight, I'll fight. If I could chip in a goal here, great. But do what we're asked to do and try and do it at the best of our ability, part of a team. And growing up, that's what it was. We're all about, even at age 9, playing hockey, it's about the team. It always is.
Yeah,
In other sports, it's not.
No, and one of the things I think that the structure of hockey is because you have the different lines, you have the constant line changes. It's not like with soccer where you have your starting 11 and they're on, and if you can't crack that, you're not getting on the field. But with hockey, with all the constant line changes, you're constantly on the ice. You're getting ice time now, whether you're on the top line or the first line or the fourth line. That's totally different. But that whole team concept is they're out there on the ice. You're hoping they do well, and then you're out on the ice, and then you're onto the bench.
And sometimes there's a reason why. You got the top guy. Like they may put Hull on quote unquote the fourth line but because he has to accept that, because it's not because we're necessarily punishing you. It's because you're one of our better players. We need to get more out of you, and we're going to put you on that line to help maybe get them going. It's a team aspect.
Yes.
We need that from you. Maybe that'll help get you going again. Sometimes when you play with a really skilled guy, and you got 3 skilled guys together, and sometimes it's just things aren't going. Sometimes you drop a guy, like put a Taylor Hall with a Colin White. I mean, now Colin, or and
He's a very
me,
talented
Colin
man.
and me aren't the goal scoring type, but there's something that we may do that help lifts up that Taylor Hall possibly, that can get him going. And then obviously we don't get promoted. He just gets promoted back to the first line, and we just keep schlepping along in the third,
You did
fourth
your
line.
job. You got him up the ladder.
Right? And
You're a lunch pail.
what does that come down to? It's about being the team, right?
Yeah.
We're, like I said, ever since we were little kids, when we were 8, 9 years old, the coach would come in and say, it's all about the team. It's even at 9, 8 years old. And we just, as you grow into that team aspect.
You talk about being 8, 9 years old, and I actually wanted to ask Colin this too, is when did you realize the moment that you're like, I'm going to be in the NHL? Like you knew. Here, I'll give you this.
When I made it.
So when you made it, that was it. You didn't know you were going to make it into the NHL?
No,
Get into the NHL?
No, you knew you were getting close at certain times when I was in the minor stuff, but like Grant was obviously the first round pick, right, Grant?
Yeah.
So, I mean, them guys kind of have a better idea. And, but back when we were there, it wasn't like we could watch hockey. You grew up in Toronto. We were watching hockey every night. There was no internet to go.
Yeah.
I never met any NHL guys before growing up. Like, it was so far-fetched.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, Grant?
It's true.
You were in Toronto, so you were in the hockey.
I was in a bigger fish pond or big hockey pond. So for me, I was very fortunate to like Colin said, be a first rounder. But where I kind of had an idea that I was a bit better and good was when I ended up getting an agent when I was 13. So knowing having an agent.
Like
Well,
sitting in a parking
my
lot
point is
picking your nose.
my
Like that.
point is when an agent's calling your parents to represent you,
Jeez.
there's a thing. They must be seeing something in you.
There must be something.
That's kind of where I kind of like. Okay, things are going good. I know I'm playing.
Did you have a third when you were 13? No.
Yeah. Well, the thing was, the only reason why I say that is because it's hard getting to Nova Scotia. So it's hard getting back then. The scouts getting to Nova Scotia,
And that's
but they would see him traveling, and that's when they would,
But that's what I find. So,
I lucked out. I was in a big city where it's, the pool is so big compared to where he grew up in. That's why it's amazing how well he did.
Come sit down. No, okay.
Now we got a couple Nova Scotia. Since we're talking Nova Scotia,
Go for it.
we got 3 guys that are pretty good from Nova Scotia. So all the kids in Nova Scotia get noticed now. McKinnon, Crosby,
should.
and Marchand.
Absolutely, and they
These
should.
guys are in the top 10 in scoring. That's pretty. I'm proud to be in Nova Scotia with these guys representing us.
Well, and that gets back
great point.
to nowadays with the way things go is like word gets out and they'll find you. They'll find you in Newfoundland and in Nova Scotia and Halifax. Sometimes that can be a little bit easier.
Texas, yeah.
Well, absolutely. But sometimes that can be a little easier. Sometimes because
Arizona for Austin
Toronto's
Matthews.
got Toronto, you got 500 players you could look at, right? And it's all bunched in a big, so it can get lost sometimes, right? You go to Nova Scotia, there's 4. It's because of less population. So it's like they're not going to see 3 teams. They're going to see the 4 players.
And this
right?
is,
that makes sense.
This is why, Colin, I can't wait to have you back on because I can't wait to ask you the more in depth, like growing up in Nova Scotia and having the opportunity to play in the NHL. That must have been like such a crazy dream to even, like you were just saying, like you didn't even fathom that. And then all of a sudden, like your dream comes true, and then you're in the dressing room with Scotty Stevens and Scott Niedermayer, and you're playing in front of Martin Brodeur. And maybe at the time it didn't seem that big.
Yeah,
I
wanted to punch him in the mouth.
Exactly. You guys fought each other in the first match, like going against each other, but like
I don't want Colin on. Yeah, come on, Colin. When do you have to leave, Colin? Okay.
He's got to leave.
No, but yeah.
But I mean, I feel like that's so. But for you, you're coming from Toronto, like you said, that's the mecca of hockey. Where like, I can imagine.
You know what made us, and Colin will agree to this. You know what made us good enough to play? We love playing. It was fun.
Yeah.
What's the thing that got you to the NHL? What is the thing that got you to the NHL? Was it skill? Was it talent? Was it just your drive?
When you love doing something, that means you're going to do it more. And when you do it more, you're going to get better at it.
That's crazy.
It makes sense, right?
Yeah.
The more you do things, the better you get at it. Hence this whole failing thing. Failing becomes permanent if you stop doing it.
Yeah.
Eventually, you're going to get it. Our body, it's muscle memory and all this stuff. And there are guys in the NHL now. I remember we played with Zach Parise, one of the best skaters in the game. He still went home to get a skating coach and work on the skating. You still do it. I teach it privately. My biggest thing is skating. You can't skate, you can't play hockey.
Jeez.
Yeah. You got to learn to skate. But if you work on your skating, I remember telling a parent one time, he was like, his one son was he scores goals all the time, and he's not a good skater. Not fast. He's just not a very powerful skater, which happens. But he was on a team where he was just bigger and he had a lot of goals. But I said, and he's like, I really want him working on his shot now. And I'm like, no, we're not even going to use the puck. We're going to work on skating. And he was confused. I said, let me tell you something. As he gets older, I have a kid here that's the best skater in the world. Fastest skater in the world, but he's not really good with the puck yet. When that puck goes down the ice, who's getting the puck first? My kid. His kid's not. So how good's his kid's hands when my kid's got the puck?
Yeah.
So let's work on the skating.
Yep.
Then we'll get the skill set going. He's already got the skill set. That's a bonus. But now we got to work on the skating.
Yeah.
Because I think how many times you see kids, and it's great. They're 12 years old and they're 6'2", and they're like, and it happens.
Yeah,
And I say, oh, they're so big. But I said, listen, other kids catch up. There's always going to be someone better, quicker, stronger.
Different sport, but same vein. All those kids that are in the Little League World Series, not a lot of them go on to be professional, baseball players because they just happen to be the biggest, strongest, and fastest in their age group, and then everyone catches up.
Yeah, it's almost a curse, right? It's a curse that they're so big at 12. Like, you wish you were late bloomer because then you could.
That's such a good point. Because there's kids that are so talented
at 12,
and
before everyone else catches up.
I
coached. But they peaked.
Yeah.
I coached a little bit of hockey, and it was like this outdoor roller rink, and actually in Greenbrook. And you came by, and you would always do like the commencement ceremony. And
absolutely, and
it was like, rink. Yeah, it's awesome. Oh my god! And listen, when I was like 10 years old, this is because this is the Devil's influence, and this is what like Colin White, what you have done. The influence of hockey in New Jersey.
It's grown so much.
Oh yeah.
As a kid. I'm 37 now, but as a kid, like growing up, playing hockey in the street in a cul-de-sac, watching these guys play, you're not going anywhere anytime soon. You should go over here and put on the headset.
But the thing is, he'll drink a pint in 9 seconds. It's ridiculous.
Maybe we'll have a chugging contest. But
he's a professional. Sorry, I interrupted. I just laughed at Colin.
No, but
keg.
You're just picking it up like this. I'll manhandle this one.
That'd get his thumb. His thumb would get drunk. That's it. Nothing else. The man's 250 pounds.
But as a kid growing up in New Jersey, where our exposure was you guys. Like you guys brought hockey into our lives, and in that roller rink, I've had kids that are so unbelievably talented,
right?
That could do things, and I'm like, "Do you play ice?" They're like, I don't want to play ice, and I'm like, "You need to get onto the ice and actually start playing." Right. And there's been a few that gone onto the ice and they actually done things, and they're like, yeah, but and I don't want to do it. That talent and that little speck of like something that could be
the
there.
lack of drive right there.
But it's like the lack of drive, and that's exactly what I was getting to. Is like, I'm like, if you push yourself to go into the next level, you could be amazing.
It's all sports. How many golfers do you see that are so good?
Unbelievable,
but they don't push themselves. Quite make it because they don't want to. They want to go that extra, hit that extra golf ball.
They don't have that commitment.
No, and it's hard. Again, it's hard. It's expensive and it's hard.
And but it's also like in any sport, you see the kid, or as a fan, we watch the NHL, and there's guys that will rag on like I didn't fully slip out. That will watch like a Rooney on the Devils right now, and they'll be like, oh, he's this and he's that. You know how hard he worked to get to the NHL?
Absolutely.
He's playing in the NHL.
He has more shifts.
He's playing in the NHL.
He has more shifts in
the NHL
who
worked the hardest to get to the NHL?
Well, not him, but the two of us.
You want to know who the hardest guy I've ever heard? The story I heard was to get the NHL, and you guys won't like it because he was a Ranger. Nick Fatio. Out of Staten Island, learned to skate when he was 16 and played in the NHL.
God bless him.
And that will never happen again.
Never.
That 16. Hence, he was a fighter. He probably played only a handful
That's like
of
Terrell Owens, who was like going into college, and you're like, what's the ball? And he's
at
like,
16 years old, he was in Massapequa Gardens. He talks to me, he goes, I'm going to play for your team. And they're like, okay.
Whatever.
Want me to sign something for you?
Yeah,
and he played for the Rangers, and he's a legend for the Rangers. So that talking about the drive, and he said, I'm a horse with blinders. This is what I want to do, and I'm going to do it. And that's the beauty of having parents, right? Parents help with that drive. They help with that encouragement. They help with that, that constructive criticism. And the beauty of having good, proper coaches and developers that really help. Sometimes it's in there, and the kids don't know how to get it out of them.
Yeah.
And that's where a certain, the parents or the certain, teacher or instructor that can help bring that out of them.
Now, as a parent and as a teacher, that's one of the hardest things in the world.
No.
Is like letting a kid understand, and like my kids are young, they're 3 and 1, so they have their lives ahead of them. But like trying to tell any kid that the potential that's ahead of you, if you work hard enough, if you have the talent, and I've seen kids even in roller hockey where I'm like, oh my God, you could do whatever you could go out there, you dance around everybody.
Yeah.
And I had a kid that was who I brought up to be an assistant coach in the league that I was coaching in. And I used to tell him all the time, like, when you used to show up, and I mean, God bless, he was 16 and living life. He showed me, like, Coach, I'm a little hungover. I'm like, don't tell me that. Yeah. Like, you shouldn't be telling me these things. I'm like, your potential is through the roof. I tell him that all the time, and now he's doing great things with his life. But what he could have been if he would have just taken that step and
the
just
drive.
pushed himself and that drive. And it's just incredible to see. Like you said, you came out of Toronto, whereas you said you had 500 kids in this class of like, it could have been anybody. And you pushed.
I grew up with Eric Lindros. We
Yeah,
played
and
together.
yeah,
We played
exactly.
together.
And you pushed yourself.
Yeah.
And like just imagining yourself as a kid, and thinking back when you were like 12, 13 years old, when somebody was like, "Hey, we want to represent your son."
Yeah.
Just do you remember that push? Do you remember that drive? Of
I
like,
do,
hey,
I do. But my parents were really strict with me, and it's and I try and instill the same values with my kids. Like especially in a team sport that we talked about earlier, is when you decide to do something part of a team, you stick with it.
Yeah.
But the good thing is that really is a big part of it is self-motivating. Like I love challenging myself. I knew guys were probably a little better than me, but I wanted to just piss them off and try and outshine them. And be the one to be noticed. So I would challenge myself, see if I can be the one noticed. Not all the time it happened, but the more I kept challenging myself, the more I wanted to keep driving myself to get more and more and more. And that self-drive, it's just, I always tell the kids, challenge yourself. It's like, it's easy to work on the things you're good at. That's easy.
Yeah.
But try working on the things you're not so good at and challenge yourself on them and see to what level you can take it to.
And it's that uncomfortable feeling that I know a lot of people don't like. And I have a kid that graduated last year, and he's taking a chance with juniors.
Yeah.
And he got there, and he was one of the standout players on our team and in our division. All of a sudden, now he's in a group of all of those standouts from all their divisions. So now he's looking at who's
That's
getting
a world shocker.
who's not
That's a world
dressing and things
shocker.
like that. It is a
Yeah.
world shocker.
Yeah.
But then that's really where you have to outshine the rest, like you were saying, by pushing yourself to, you may not be the best skilled, but if you can work harder, those are the small things that a good coach will notice. Like, he's putting in all the effort. I'm going to throw him out there instead of, so-and-so that, got off the ice as soon as practice was done.
And, and I look at it too, where I have 3 daughters. And I have my 17-year-old daughter. Is I'm like, you do whatever you can. You do your best to do whatever you can. Like even if it's in sports or whatnot. And she's not into sports. She's she wants to be into medical and stuff, which is great.
God bless.
But the thing is not even just that. It's like with anything. If you have that proper drive and that attitude and that want to challenge yourself, if anything, she'll end up being a strong, powerful young woman.
Yeah.
And forget the career, the hockey or the whatever, or it doesn't end up being in medical. But she strives so hard to get to that. It didn't quite work out, which happens. It's but at the end of the day, she's a strong, independent young woman.
There you go.
And that's the values that I want my kids to try for the best, if it's sports or if it's whatever else. But at the end of the day, it's all about yourself, a character and being that strong, powerful person that, eventually that's what it'll be. And I think sport is massive for that. It helps give that confidence as you get in a teen. She's 17 now, and it gives her that confidence when she's going to be living on her own and going to school, and she can handle those certain things because she's got that strong drive and self-confidence.
I have to say something, and I know it's funny because when we came in here and you came in earlier and you were talking to my father-in-law, who's this incredible human being behind the bar, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
Say hi.
Hi, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff.
Jeff, we're at the Tavern on the Rocks. Jeff is probably the greatest human being that you ever meet.
If you haven't been to Tavern on the Rocks, you better get your ass here.
I'm the luckiest human being in the world because my father-in-law is probably one of the greatest people I could ever meet.
And your father-in-law owns a bar.
And he owns a bar, and that's great.
Is that why he's one of the greatest?
No. He is one of the greatest people I ever met. And
Power of alcohol.
When you first got here and we were sitting there and he came over and he was telling you, like, thank you so much. He was saying how great you are and everything else. I hope you understand, like, your effect, you personally, your effect on just fans and just everybody, like, being in that league that I coached in, that you come out and you do the commencement ceremony and all these other kind of things. You're such a great human being.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
And honestly, like, being a part of the Devils community and just all the things that you do and instilling all these, like, great things and just coming out and doing the podcast with us. I mean, we joked around when you first came on, like, hey, you're our best our guest
No,
that comes on.
that was no joke.
No,
he
it's not
he
a
holds
joke.
the record. That's no joke.
It's not a joke. But
Man, I owe you money. I owe you guys money. This
no,
is
but
ridiculous.
honestly, Grant, like you're an amazing person. You're an amazing
thank you.
human being, and I can't thank you
Very
enough.
thoughtful.
And like honestly, being here and bringing us Colin White and bringing this whole community together. You know, one of the great things for us as a fan is being able to talk to you about your experience with the Devils and being experienced with just everything in general. But thank you from the bottom of my heart for this.
Man, thank you so much.
And thank you for everything.
But on top of that, that was the organization the Devils always had. They would pass on a superstar if the character wasn't great.
Right.
And the Devils always looked at character when they brought anyone onto the team. And that was always a hallmark of this team, was that if you weren't a good person, you weren't coming to New Jersey. And that was always I love that fact about this team, because they're only going to bring in good people.
And they should. And people care. I love that word.
You're
care.
a great human being.
Well, I thank you so much. And you know, it gets back, and I really appreciate the compliment. And I'll tell you, if that's how I am to people, which I want to be. The biggest thing, if you talk about teaching, I teach my kids and I teach your kids and the values and stuff. I owe it to my mom and my dad, mainly my mom. My mom always said to me, Grant, when you play the game, when you're on the ice, I want you to be the biggest prick on the ice. I want you to be a mother. Yeah. But she says, when you're off the ice, you're an actor. You better start treating people with respect. You talk properly. See, and that's how she always said to me. She goes, I want you to be that actor. I want you to be the prick on the ice, but I want you to be a good person. And I'm not the best person. I mean, I'm sure I piss off people at times. But for the most part, I try and I respect people.
It's so funny that you say that, because growing up, playing high school sports and crap like that, I get the same thing from my parents. Like, for my mom, be like, on the field, you're an animal. Yep. You get off the field, you're a gentleman.
It's a different world.
And when I used to coach my kids, it was the same thing. Like, you win like a man, you lose like a man.
Yeah.
And when you're out there, if you could say whatever you want to say, but at the end of the game, you shake their hand, you look them in the eye, and you say, "Hey, good game."
Yeah.
And those are the kind of people that need to be a part of this sport, a part of this organization. And I feel like we're so blessed and so lucky to have you here.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. You guys are really good. I love coming on. You guys are really passionate for the team. The Devils are extremely lucky to have passionate fans like the ones here. Yeah. And for you guys,
David Decker especially.
Sam and I, we talk quite a bit.
I think he's actually working now.
Well, so yeah, Sam's the Penn State.
But it's well, what's going on with that game? Is it on yet or no?
Buckeyes are on at 8 o'clock. What time?
I can't lie.
Devils are on at 8 o'clock too. We're gonna have to get Jeff to put one TV on.
Ohio.
Oh Lord,
I'm gonna back out of the way here.
I can't lie. My uncle was a teacher in Wisconsin, so when I was growing up, it was always like the Ohio
What
State.
are you trying to say?
Well, I looked at Ohio State a little differently. That's all I have to say.
Really?
Just a little bit.
All right,
Just a little bit.
We can take the headset off.
And
No, I don't. Listen, at the end of the day, guess what? I'm gonna still wake up tomorrow. I cheer everyone, but
it's all
I got no money in it.
It's all
I got no money in it. Thank God. I'm not an idiot. I'm not smart. I'm just not an idiot.
Hey, I might have born at night, but it wasn't last night, right?
That's right.
Well, the Devils do play tonight.
Yes, they do, and they're going to win. They're going to win.
Hey, you know what?
They're going to win 3-2 tonight.
3-2. Boom. There it is.
They're going to win 3-2 tonight. Subban's going to get a goal and assist.
You think so? Yeah, I mean,
I'm just trying to really ride this thing and think it sounds
well,
really
no, he's
cool.
going back to Nashville.
He's going back to Nashville, and
there's going to be
Yossi
some motivation there.
Yossi was quoted as saying, like, "Are you going to chirp? Are you going to chirp him tonight? Are you going to try and get under his skin?" And he's like, "Yeah, of course I am.
Whoa,
of course I'm going to try and get under his skin."
Absolutely.
And like, and that's a good question. When you played Dallas for the
my
first
game back in Dallas.
yes. Let me ask you
Top
something.
shelf on Belfort. Sorry, Belly. Yep.
But did you have any like were you chirping your old teammates, or were you saying anything?
No.
You just focused on the game.
No. Well, not that I would.
I mean, you're going back in your
I was
home.
roaming the streets. I remember that street.
Just one eye in it,
Wait,
pirating
that's my
down
house.
the street.
Where is my house? You know,
Island's over there.
I did
over there.
tripping. I don't think I was years ago, so I don't think I tripped. I actually got in a fight. I fought Erskine. I'm fighting Erskine. Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, I'm an idiot. I fought Erskine. Yeah, that's right.
You ever get into a fight with somebody and you're like as soon as you drop the gloves, you're like, damn it, I
I'm not the brightest. I am not the brightest. I remember
damn it, I regret
I
this.
fought Brashear 3 times. I did really good the first one, not so good the second one, and really bad the third one.
Oh, man.
And Lou comes in the shower. He goes, "Can you ever say no?" I said, "No." And I like, "You smart ass." Like, yeah, I'm not the brightest, but it's you know what? Get paid to do it. It's not a tough life.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
And I still get the odd tick once in a while. I still forget my
Kind of
name.
get it like you wake up in night terrors.
Or at night terrors, yeah, I'm fighting people.
Yeah, you just see fists coming your way. You're like, ah.
My wife's punching me. It's like, what's going on right now?
Call her Donald.
I hear the music coming. I mean, I feel like we're getting the hook.
Yeah, we are getting the hook.
Like, you know, when the music we get louder, we get louder.
Yeah.
Louder, let's get louder. Let's get louder.
But here's the best part about the music coming on. We get to go sit at the bar now.
No, because Colin's got the sexy voice. That means he gets to do the sexy dance. Come on, Colin. Come on, you sexy beast, you.
This is an absolute honor.
If you did not come out tonight, you're missing out.
Yeah.
I thought you were leaving.
No, he's staying for the duration. He's staying for the duration. Hey, buddy.
I love you, Whitey, meathead. I love it.
Thank you, Colin. Thank you, Greg.
Yes, thank you guys for coming
Guys,
on.
thank you so much.
No
you guys
problem.
are awesome. Thanks,
you.
everybody
Thank you
out
so
there.
much.
Tavern on the Rocks.
Yeah, Tavern on the Rocks, Rockaway, New Jersey. The Let's Go Devils podcast. Devils about to take on
Let's
Nashville.
go, Devils.
Here we
Let's
go.
go, Devils.
Thank everyone for listening. Thank everyone for coming out. And until next time, let's go Devils.